I stopped John. Okay, it says recording in progress. I don't see anything I need to click off. So, John, let's get
Okay,
you back
great.
on here. Thank
Yes,
you.
John Wax with Snap NHD Natural Hazard Disclosure Report. Thank you for allowing us to be here. I just want to remind you, you can order these reports at time of listing, even take it with you, your Snap NHD report on your listing appointment. Show them that you have the information and you know all about their property and you're different than all the other agents out there. I do want to reiterate, yes, the NHD statement page has changed, and now it includes not only very high fire state level fire hazard determination, but now high fire hazard determination, as well as very high fire local hazard determination. And it still has the wildland fire state level fire determination. So remember that. We do have the free lease report for your leases, and use our property tax estimator. It's a great way to figure out supplemental taxes because they always want to know that up front, how much you're going to pay if I buy this property and if I close at this time. I'm only a phone call, email away. I bring you almost 30 years of experience. I'm here for you. I'll put my information in the chat, and I thank you very, very much for your orders and your business and being a part of this wonderful, wonderful team and office. Office with heart.
Thank you. An office with a lot of heart. Thank you, John. I have a tear coming down. Every time you speak, you always make my heart tremble, just like all of you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Meet that in a great way. You're welcome. Okay, next here is not Cecil Green, but it's Scott Shimamoto with the green back screen.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Scott Shimamoto here, Journey Mortgage Advisors. I'm still on the no money down, no PMI conventional loan bandwagon that you can stack with a up to $15,000 closing costs credit. The good thing about these programs, it's with one of my lenders. We're a broker. Brokers are better. But what's great about it is we don't have to add time to the escrow period. Some of the other closing costs, like credit programs that are out there, you have to get the government involved, or you have to get different nonprofit agencies involved, and they typically take like 45 days minimum to close these deals. This bank, we could do it in 30 days or less. So, probably can't do like a 20-day close, but 30 days or less. Minimum investment in this by the borrower is $500. So if you have clients out there who are making good money and can afford to pay the mortgage, but they just haven't had a chance to stack up a bunch of money, this is an excellent way to get them in there. Yeah, so if you have anybody out there like that, I'd love to pre-approve them. Thanks again, Calvin and Sylvia, for allowing us to be part of this meeting. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know that Giles is going to be putting out a schedule, and I know that Calvin's going to be mentioning speakers, but we usually don't go far into the future. But I do want to plug in your event May 9th here at our office. Stay tuned for more details. It is May 9th. It's RSVP only, and it is going to be from 4 to 7 p.m. And stay tuned for all the nice details. Thank you so much.
It's going to be fun.
Perfect. Next, who I see here is Nancy. Nancy, you're up. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. You're on mute. Your mouth is opening, but not, I can't hear you. Okay, until she figures that out, why don't we move over to Sage? Sage, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Sage Gomez here with my NHD. I just wanted to put a link in the chat. It's a hashtag website. So it's available to literally anyone. It's free. You can check whether or not a property is in a flood or fire zone for free. In the past, you would have had to email me or text me a property address, and I would have had to tell you the information directly. But now it's available for literally anyone. All you have to do is make a profile, enter your information, and any time of day, any property, you can find out whether or not it's in a flood or fire zone for free. Again, utilize this because the issue with real estate right now is insurance companies. So get ahead of the game. See if you are in a flood or fire zone. Get your insurance immediately if you can. It's hard out there for everyone. So be on top of it. Again, this is available for all of you. I'm going to put it in the link. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm always happy to help. Everyone have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And now I'd like to go back to Nancy. Nancy, are you there?
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now. I
Okay.
can hear you.
Good morning, Sylvia. Good morning, Calvin. And good morning, everybody at Coldwell Banker Dynasty. Everything is going good. Market, I know the 3 listing is not the most, great news now today, but inventory is low. If you want to go to do more farming, I do some coaching for agents and think outside of the box. How do you get listings? How do you door knock? There are different ways that I think that a lot of people that have never done it should start doing it because inventory is low. If you get a listing now, you're a king and queen. So I like to see people that participate. Give me a call. If you want to sit down with me, I'll be happy to do so. Thank you so much, Sylvia. I'm helping agents to grow. That's my goal. Thank you.
Thank you so much for planting that, Nancy. Appreciate you. And next who I see here, let me see. Looks like Angie's on. Angie, you're up next.
Hi, good morning. Angie Tang, First American Title. So I want to talk a little bit about strength and security because I know, that every title has farming tools and capabilities to help the agents grow. But I also want to talk about security and stability. So First American, we just had another claim. I've told you before that we've been having a lot more claims recently than before. So in the 20-some years that I've been doing this, there's more claims than I've ever seen. So I just talked to an agent the other day, and he was like, Angie, I can't believe it, but First American ended up paying our claim. We didn't think they would. It was for another claim on permits. This is my second claims on permits. We paid out the maximum amount of $25,000, which usually you have to go through hurdles and all this other stuff. But they're like, you know what? This actually, that claim, he told me that it was already not part of the time frame to request for the claim, but First American made an exception and actually paid the claim out. I mean, it wasn't my file, but it was an agent of mine who had a First American policy. So he told me, Angie, this is amazing. I can't believe your office approved it. And before you knew it, I received a $25,000 check. It's insane. Like we love what we do. Our policies stand for itself with the strength and stability behind the name of First American. So it's always something to think about. This is why when I bought my property, I also chose First American, even though I had to pay extra to choose my own. But this is the power and the strength of First American. So our family is huge. We have, Brandon, we've got home warranty side. We have even 1031. So we have all the gamuts of real estate to help you grow your business. I'm Angie Tang, First American Title. Thanks, Sylvia, with the heart.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Next we have here, and you said something, we do what we love. Here, we do what we love and we love what we do. Thank you. Next here, let me see who else we have as an affiliate. We have Unita. Unita, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. Unita Wu from Home Warranty for America, the 13 months home warranty. Thank you for letting me be here. I do want to let everybody know we do have that new brochure coming out. Our price do have an increase for $40. So please be sure that you guys writing more on the RPA. Everybody went up pricing as well. So we want to make sure you have enough budget when you're purchasing the home warranty. One of the things that we do have the homeowner insurance deductible up to additional $1,000. This is nobody else have it. So then if you do file a claim for that homeowner insurance, then you could be able to file another claim with us to get reimbursed up to additional $1,000, which is very, very huge. I have a homeowners last week that telling me that they have to do like all the slap link need to be removed. That costing them a lot of deductible. Their deductible was $2,000. So this is a great news for everybody. We also have a new brochure that coming up with the outdoor kitchen, sprinkle system, water softener. So please reach out to me for all your home warranty needs. We're here to help you and to have a win-win situation. And thank you again for your support. I will put my information in there. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Lovely view you have there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So I I scrolled through here. I didn't see any other affiliates that we have missed. If one of you is signing on and we haven't called on you, let us know. We want to make sure we acknowledge everyone. And I want to thank all the agents that are here. That's wonderful. We have some more agents that signed up. So I'm going to go ahead and begin with the quote before I hand it over. So the quote for this morning, I was going through several quotes, and there's so many great quotes out there, but this one kind of just stood out, and I just killed a gnat with my bare hands. Okay, don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the best. So don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the best. And that's by John D. Rockefeller. So that one stood out, and I felt compelled to share that one with you. So with that said, I'm now going to hand it over. We can do the drum roll. Our broker, Calvin Chang. Calvin, you're up. I didn't bring my swimsuit, but I see you're in a suit.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. I always thank you, Sylvia, for a great introduction. So great Rockefeller quote. Have a lot of cool updates and announcements and just going over the news on what's going on in real estate. So thank you for being in attendance and being live and being in person. I'm happy to be here in front of you as well. Really just sharing some knowledge and expertise, a little bit about what's going on the back end of a lot of stuff. And hopefully we'll have a very productive meeting today. So I'll be very respectful of your time and cover some really great resources to help you lead into 2024. I can't believe it's already January is already the last day today. So we're already kicking and heading strong into heading into spring. So I hope everyone can really just get productive, get out there and talk real estate, because sooner than you know it, rates hopefully will be declining and becoming a little bit more favorable for buyers out there to come back into the market, for sellers to consider not the lock-in effect that we've been hearing a lot going on for the 2023. And so without further ado, let's start the slides and get into it. So thank you, affiliates, for always being here and on time and getting our attending our office and really just your rotation and being part of answering a lot of the questions and all the clients' needs and really just helping our agents be more informed of what's going on, classes and all the stuff that we put on together. We appreciate the collaboration on all fronts. Happy Wednesday again. It's a reminder that success is not about luck. It's about hard work and determination, and I believe in that. I really do think that your efforts and your energy that you exude and the reminders that you reach out on with all of your follow-ups and prospects definitely have a strong correlation to your success, your efforts, your energies, and your perseverance and your determination in building your craft, knowing what's going on, getting up to date on legislation, understanding disclosures, and how to explain things to a client digestible in small parts, holding their hand through the transaction. That experience that you possess or build upon and develop is instrumental in your success. So to 2024, we all have a positive outlook that it's going to be much better than 2023. And I am in agreement. So hopefully the stars align for a better volume year, because in 2023, the lock-in effect was in place. That's out of our control. Rates are out of our control. And I think that was a key thing. We have our sales meeting and keys to success planned. So this is the upcoming schedule. I stay on point. I try to keep it with the affiliates and agents. Sorry, didn't send the reminder yesterday, but we sent it this morning. So those of you here in attendance, you know the schedule. Thank you. And I do have a really nice class I would like you to attend on February 6th. That's on Tuesday. I've had a couple of requests for updates on the forms and contracts for 2024. We've had our forms revision recently in December. I haven't had an opportunity to cover that with you guys as a class. So that's where we're going to do it. We're going to do it on February 6th, 2 o'clock. I'm sorry, this is not 10 a.m. This is 2 p.m. Okay. And I want to cover just some updated disclosures, the language, how we're going to explain it, and the differences from the past contract. Okay. So you'll see that one on February 6th, Tuesday, 2 p.m. We have Sam Wright coming to us tomorrow. He's going to be reappearing to us, talking about the insurance laws, and State Farm definitely is a great company to have a carrier with. So when you're looking to really just have some understanding, maybe the fire insurance policies that we've all seen be leaving California, many of these agencies have left. So I have seen many, many instances on recent deals where carriers are not issuing a quote or a premium, and it's having buyers really shopping around for 4, 6 different carriers just to get a quote to compare, because we don't like the California Fair Plan. It's too expensive. So talk and learn, and have some insurance questions for Sam. We also have Nicole Menard, and John Wex. We are doing a back-to-back training right here on February 8th. That's next Thursday. Ignite your target farming and natural hazard wilderness. So these are definitely great topics. I love that they're going to come and piggyback on each other and really just help your understanding of NHD, your understanding of title and farming, and really igniting your fire using the tools that the title reps can provide in terms of really just building a good farm that you want to service, that you want to identify and customize to the business that you want to seek. So hopefully you can get into that. And obviously our next sales meeting will be on February 14th, Valentine's Day. Sounds good. So I'll just move on to the next slide. So we have a lot to cover today. I know a couple of you have been starting to attend Moxie classes online at CB University. I do value and appreciate you learning about really just how to use their CRM system. It's all included benefits for us as Coldwell Banker agents, free of charge. And really just wanted you to maximize your ability to market yourself online, social media, and have your profile and website customized exactly how you want it. So if you are engaged in Moxie and you are learning about Moxie Present and Moxie Impress, these tools are really beautifully designed, templated stuff that comes direct from our MLS feed with beautiful brochures and different marketing pieces. So it's a reminder to get in there, access your account, and learn it. So I've already just talked about this, but I love the resources from the webinars from attorneys. And these legal webinars on the CAR website are available 24/7. Link is attached. And Sylvia, do you have any
Yes.
management updates or anything you want to cover right now?
I do. Thank you for asking, Kelvin. I appreciate that. So I would like to share with you the articles, 2 articles that were mentioned this morning at Caravan. One of them was Article 1, when representing a buyer. I know this is so basic, but and our agents are really good at this, and I don't have to be called on any cases like you, Kelvin or Mark, which I have a few cases already on standby. So people, consumers, realtors to realtors, people to people are making complaints out there, and they are filing. So I just want you to be mindful that when representing a buyer, seller, landlord, or tenant, or other client as an agent or realtor, pledge yourself to protect and promote the interest of the client's best interest. The obligation to the client is primary, but it does not relieve realtors of their obligations to deal with all parties honestly. When serving a buyer, seller, landlord, or tenant, or any other party in a non-agency capacity, realtors remain obligated to treat all parties honestly. So just remember that, honest. Being honest and being truthful is easier to remember than it is to try and remember something made up. The next rule, MLS rule 7.12, a withdrawal. Of a listing prior to expiration, listings of property must be withdrawn from the MLS by the listing broker before the expiration date of the listing agreement if the listing broker has not received written instructions from the seller to withdraw the listing from the MLS. The listing broker may withdraw any listing from the MLS 48 hours after providing the seller with written notice of the sellers regarding the terms of the listing agreement. The MLS may require the listing broker to provide a copy of any notice of dispute or any written instructions from the seller. Sellers do not have the unilateral right to require the MLS to cancel any listing. However, the MLS reserves the right to remove a listing from the MLS database if the seller can document that his or her listing agreement with the listing broker has been terminated or invalid. Withdrawal from the MLS with the seller's consent does not relieve the obligation of the listing broker to report the sale or sales price if it does close escrow while the seller is represented by the listing broker. Hope all that makes sense to you. That's important to please stay mindful of everything that is going on out there. Kelvin, I'll go ahead and have you mention the speakers and the one for this afternoon. But as far as what I have to mention, that concludes my report. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to write a question to all of you guys, and I want everyone to participate. This will be a nice exercise. You'll see it pop up in a second. Okay, let's see if it pops up on your screen, because I'm asking a question and I would like your maybe click in and launch this. Do you guys see something pop up with call the poll?
Yes.
Okay, let's make this fun. And affiliates, you can participate too, because this is just an opinion. Let's say a realtor helped a buyer, and let's just say it's me. I helped my buyer in 2022 purchase a flip property. I, Kelvin Chang, am now in 2024 asked to list and sell that same property that I helped the buyer purchase. And so my question to you, do I need to share my past inspection reports from 2022 to this new buyer in 2024?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I love that you guys are already putting in your answers, and everyone so far 7 people say 6 people say yes, and 3 people say no. Okay, and that's great too. I'm glad I asked this question, because now this is time to just cover a very simple learning exercise. And so this is just a little tip for you. Okay, you know, it's still recent history. Okay, and as a realtor and listing agent, the actual answer is, well, it depends. Okay, and it depends matters on pretty much every single scenario you're going to deal with as an agent when you have this little thing on your mind saying, should I or should I not disclose these past reports? Okay, if it's in your, and so my answer to you is, do you necessarily have to share the full report if to the buyer? Technically, no. Your duties as an agent is not to just share a full report that your buyer paid for back in 2022. It is their possession. It is their, I guess, their fee of what they paid for. It was part of their due diligence, who now happens to be a seller. Okay. So because this same seller received these same reports that I received, I prefer to throw it back to the seller's duty. Okay. saying, hey, seller, we purchased this in 2022. I do have a recollection, and from my files, you have two termite reports performed on here. One was from you and one was from the listing agent of that seller. And you have your home inspection report that you completed and any other variable extra reports that you conducted when you 2022. Do you remember we did it? We had one from Morrison and we had one from this, or we had this company. Anyway, so, well, on your TDS SBQ, there is a box saying, seller, do you have any knowledge? Do you have any known existing defects? So my job as a listing agent is to remind them, let them know. I know you worked on the property in the last year and a half. You're flipping it. You remodeled some of it. So today, when we sell this listing property to a buyer, you have to disclose known material facts and of existing. And so I guess you can say some pros, like I did remodel in 2024. We did this, remodeled the bathroom, kitchen. And then you should still disclose the items that you did not touch, the items that you do have knowledge of, because there is, and the easiest way is you can provide the report or the summary. You can show the areas of the report that you did not work on. So that way the buyer has that knowledge when they're purchasing. Okay. Now, when the seller chooses to give or not give that report, I've done my duty as listing agent to remind him, point out the areas. And if now the answer becomes, do I need to share that report to the new buyer? The answer is technically yes and no. Okay, it depends, right? So no, I do not need to share the report to the new buyer in 2024. However, the facts that I know should be shared. Okay, so I can, if I don't want to share the report to the new buyer, I would say, well, I do recall in 2022, there was some leaking in the toilet. There was a limited, some sort of a roof issue or a past ceiling leak in the attic area. And there's like, 5, 6 other things. Those are the items that I want to disclose to the new buyer. I could put it on an AVID, okay? And I can have it in there inserted, or I can have a little write-up regarding any known defects that I was aware of, okay? So that's the answer. Now, can I also, with permission from the listing, from the seller, give the whole report to the buyer? And that answer is yes, I can. So one way to do it is, seller, I noticed you did not share the 2 termite reports from 2022. Have you performed any termite fumigation or any work or replacement of wood in the last 2 years since you purchased the property? The seller says no. Seller, are you going to share these termite reports with them? Or actually, if you like, I can have them provided and shared from the past 20. I have it on a copy. Can I have your permission to share it to the buyer since this work has not been done? Okay. And so I gain the seller's consent to share it. Okay. I want to share it because there's probably evidence of these 2 reports. Now, many of you as buyers and listing agents don't know, but every termite inspection report that's pulled on a property does get sent to California's Department of Labor. No, I'm sorry. There is a state board that's collecting these contractor bids. And even if you don't complete the payment, there has been a report supplied and evidence of a report performed. And there are 2 history ones in 2022. So therefore, a new buyer could discover these lack of disclosure or lack of providing report. And I want to avoid any future claims. So my advice to you is to just go ahead and share it if in the event nothing has been done. But if there is a new termite report performed, great. That's more current. That's more updated. So that's also wise to do, is to have an updated report, because that'll override the old ones. It's more reflective of the current condition. So that's the poll. It's a yes and no trick question. All of you guys are right. Okay. It all depends on the details of what's to disclose. Okay. Does that make sense? Any questions on that?
Calvin, it makes a lot of sense. Not a question, just a statement. There was no C option, but yeah, I agree with you 100%. But I chose to say yes, just for the sake of being honest and transparent right up front, because we get that question a lot from our agents, especially representing flippers or investors. And and it kind of carries with you, right? It does not have a statute of limitations, does it? It carries with you. So if the property lists 5 years later and it's still a known fact, the answer would be yes, it still carries with you, yes or no.
Known facts carry with you because you've been, whether you remember it or not, you were provided the knowledge, and an attorney would make it seem like this was always top of mind, and they'll make and accuse the agent that all of this knowledge was given to them, provided to them, and it's their duty to, at least if you're selling the same property, you have a duty to kind of go back and check your notes of your past sale. You do have that duty. Okay.
Correct.
And many of you don't. You guys don't go, you don't go back into your 2-3-year-old inspection report to see what kind of defects and remind yourselves of what's known defects or not. But it actually is wise to ask the areas that are potentially more risky. I don't care about like a broken window screen. I'm talking about things that are liability issues, leaks, water
Correct.
intrusion, roof stuff, foundation issues, structural,
Something
electrical,
illegally
safety
buried.
issues. So yeah, so if I find anything noted on there and then I read through it, I go, ooh, this was a red flag. I remember. Remember we fought. Oh, remember buyer, we got a 10,000 credit for this stuff. Did you fix it and address it? Okay. Because we asked for something, we got some repairs done, or usually I got some concession, and the buyer takes a $2,000 credit of something for pointing things out. Guess what? If they don't even work on it or fixed it during their ownership, they should still disclose this to the buyer. And if they fail to disclose this, I want to save my butt, which is disclose it to the buyer in my AVID. Okay. Because at that time, most of the time, all of you guys are afraid, oh, what if it blows up the deal? And actually, I actually find that me being open and sharing past report or a past defect that was from 2-4 years ago, I actually find that it actually makes things a little bit more comfortable, because now the buyer's seeing that I'm acting in good faith and I'm actually open about things and I'm not trying to conceal or hide anything. Most of the time they just sign off and move on, and then what they do is, oh, I'll have my inspector carefully look at that area again. Okay, that's what happens. Okay, so they carefully look at it, and then it's already going to be reflected on their inspection report anyways, so very likely. So might as well just point it out for them, so that way their inspector can do the due diligence, right? Okay, good.
Right.
That was just a random exercise. Any questions? Any other questions?
For pickup, what name?
Okay, I
Carla
think Jean needs to turn off or someone needs to turn off their mic.
It was supposed to be last night, but
Can I ask you
see.
a question?
Yeah, Nilafar.
Can I throw a wrench?
Darrillo.
Hold on, I gotta.
I think it's Edgar. Edgar, can you turn off your mic?
Yep. Okay, so Nilafar, you had something?
Yes. What if the property completely is down and rebuilt, and there was a past owner who passed in the property? Should we notify the new buyer after 2 years?
Well, it already asked the owner that question, whether there's a death in the last 3 or 5 years or whatnot, or 3 years, I'm sorry. So,
Yes.
so because it's 3 years, the seller already has that duty. So if the death was more than 3 years ago, because it's rebuilt, I would say agent has no duty. Okay.
Okay.
If it's the same existing, same home, same structure that wasn't rebuilt, and I would say it depends on, I guess I would say depends on maybe what's called
The tricky
how
part.
recent. Like if it was 3.5 years ago, I would still disclose it. Okay.
What was the question, Kelvin? Can you repeat it?
Neil, if I was asking, does an agent has knowledge of beyond 3 years a death on the property?
Actually, the 3 years, because that is, you know, it's not a murder or something. It's supposed to be 3 years, not
3 years
more.
is what the seller has to do.
Yes.
But I would think that the knowledge stays attached to the agent if the agent's still touching that file. It's
Yeah, if
still
it's still-
part of that.
And so if the agent is still has that knowledge and it's within 3 years, the answer should be yes, it should be disclosed. If it's 3.5 years, I would say I still would prefer it to be disclosed. If it were talking about 10, 20 years ago and there's a death, I would say you don't have to disclose that.
Responsibility of the agent is one thing, that whether discloses or not. A responsibility of the seller.
It's a
who is
seller for
the-
3 years, yes.
Yes. So in the TDS, they have to say it.
Yes, if they have knowledge.
Yes. I answered no to that, to your questions. As
Because I phrased the question to be no and a yes, but everyone is correct. No, I don't have to share the report. I only have to share the findings of known defects that are still existing. Okay, and that's a valid reason why it should be a no. Someone else paid for that report, but I had to share the knowledge about what I know. Okay.
you were kind of, I didn't hear your response.
The reason why no is an accurate response to the poll is because agents do not need to share the full report like PDF and send it all over to the new buyer in 2024. They don't, because that's a report that's paid for by that owner and seller. The seller had the option to give it to them already, and the seller declined giving that old report because they fixed some stuff. So my answer is no, I don't have to share the full report, but I should still share known defects from the past knowledge that I have knowledge that has not been worked on or is still existing. If the seller failed to disclose it, I still should disclose the findings, not the full report.
Thank you.
Okay.
Kelvin, I'd like to share something to
Yep.
Nilofar, if that's okay. So Nilofar, I had a listing with Helen in the office, and the sellers could not remember because of age specific. They could not remember that there was a death within 5 years. 5 years. So that exceeds the seller's responsibility of the 3 years. So because I was fully made aware by other realtors of a death in a community area, I went to Calvin and said, Calvin, what do I do? Now I'm informed, but I don't have confirmation. So I went to the extent of going to the local police department. Police department gave me different information. Then I went to a different agency and confirmed that, along with HOA, that there was a death. So even though it was beyond 3 years, Helen and I disclosed it because it's a known fact on our part. Then the seller remembered that that occurred. So it's best to just protect yourself at all times and protect your client if someone makes you aware of something that they, quote unquote, do not remember.
But the death, if it's a natural death, it's supposed to be 3 years. But if
3
it's
years.
murder, it's supposed to be even 7 years. So
Sometimes, right.
I don't see the necessity of disclosing it if it was natural death and it was 5 years ago.
I
I
agree.
understand. Yeah, go ahead, Calvin.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, if it's natural causes and it's 5 years ago, I said it depends on the amount of time pass. of the knowledge of the death. So the answers are there are death is part of life. So it's nothing to be scared of. So I was just saying, if it was 3 years, yeah, you should, and then you should disclose it. Remind the sellers of to disclose it.
Yeah.
If it's beyond 3 years, but it's natural causes, I leave that up to the agent to decide. If the nature of the death was more newsworthy, then I would probably lean towards disclosing it. And what is the definition of newsworthy? A murder, a crime, something that took a police report on.
Yeah.
Okay, a robbery and then a burglary turned bad. Someone drowned in a pool.
Is the property that is well known around?
Say that again?
Property that is well known around, like a celebrity's property or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Even a celebrity
Definitely.
drug overdose, okay, in their own home.
Yes.
That's newsworthy. Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Let's get back to the slides. And if there's no other any other questions?
No, good question, Nilofar.
So happy birthday to our February babies. Just want to wish you, if you're born in February, in the month of February, this is your slide from us to you. We wish you another good one, another good year. Now, the market update, really brief, is just talking about it's consistently looking like the 2024 should be a better, stronger year than in 2023. 30-year fixed rate is below 7%. It's been holding steady, just over 6, hovering in that range. But we do anticipate some softening in the rates. Okay. The housing demand rebound has not yet happened, but we are seeing a little bit more greater supply right now in California market and housing, more listings coming out, small signals. And then we're going to see a little bit more competition as fewer sellers reduce their price. Why would there be more competition? Because rates should trickle down, hopefully. Okay. So that's the quick write-up. Let me get into the details of what the nit and gritty is regarding.
Can I say one more thing, Calvin?
Yep.
I saw it even for the lease. Sorry about that. Okay.
What were you going to say?
I did a lease, and even the price reduction, there was multiple properties that reduced the lease price down. And it was shocking. I just wanted to let you know, when you said about the price went down a little bit, I think it depends on the area, but the lease that I did, and I saw that some properties prices went down, I was shocked.
I would say every rental agreement and every landlord, they have to make their own choices. Okay. With rising inflation going on, and every landlord has their own choice to make regarding what's their asking rent when they market it again for lease. It does not have to be the same price what they paid before. I'm shocked too to hear some landlords wanting to drop their lease rental. Okay. But keep in mind, there are other motives from a landlord why they would decrease their rent. Either one, they're desperate, right? They don't want to have a vacancy, so they really want to get this leased out quickly. So the lower the market rent, the wider audience that can afford it. Number two, the reason why they would want to lower the rent is maybe they want a really qualified applicant and they want a lot of applications to review. So by dropping it another $100 or $200 from what it was the year prior, great. Now I have 40 people to choose from, and I can just pick the most favorable one that I like. And I want to have a lot of activity on it and options. I want to increase my options. Okay. It could be that maybe they want to, maybe the agent just wants to double end it. So they just make it an attractive rate and hope to get it leased out quickly at an easy job because they're going on vacation in 2 weeks. They want to get it leased out before they leave. Okay, so there's different motives for dropping a rent, and it's okay. That's normal. That's the market. Okay, people can,
Yeah, I just want to give a little bit of a news about the market too. Yes.
yeah. So
Thank you.
it's negotiable just because there's a posted rate. Anything can be negotiated. You can pay above that rate just to really get it. You can request, if you see it sitting down the market for a while, you can request to drop that rate. This is our proposal. Our application is subject to, 200 under your asking rent. Okay. So everything's negotiable. It just takes more work on you as an agent to achieve the goals of your client and how far you want to. There's a difference between protection and over protection or over negotiation. Okay, you have to draw that line of how to do your business. Okay, because some people are overprotecting their clients or over explaining to the clients. And this is what reminded me of this situation with the past inspections is I told my agent to proceed to share the 2022 reports. Okay, because there were some things in there, and there were things that I felt it was safer to just share the damn whole report. Okay, turns out they're still closing. The buyer still wants the property, and they appreciated the transparency. Okay, so with that, the market update of the housing market. This is a quick presentation, maybe 15 or 16 slides of what's going on. This was prepared just a few days ago from Jordan Levine. You guys see California housing market update? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, great. Now, how do I move on? It's not letting me move the screen. It's not moving to the next slide. So let me see how I can do this. It's a large file, so I think it's still reloading. Okay, so now I can see it. Let me see if I can pull it back up. Okay, so let me just go ahead and try. Maybe I just do it without full screen. Okay, never mind. Let me go into the next section because this file, I guess, is too big. It's a PowerPoint. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the NAR litigation and business practices, because some people are asking questions regarding really what's going on regarding the class action lawsuit. Okay, so what I see here is going to be a quick guide. And let me see if you can see that. There are a few questions that I just wanted to cover. The antitrust class action lawsuit against NAR has also come to California. Okay, so the verdict regarding our business practices as realtors have some requirements slash changes to how realtors practice and request compensation when you're a buyer. Okay, not much has changed except full reminders on the contracts and disclosures that all compensation and commissions and agency representations are negotiable with the buyer and the seller. So a listing agent can go out there and offer compensation to a buyer's broker. They can ask, for example, a percentage with a seller, and that's my rate for this is what I do, and this is what we can advertise for the buyer's broker and whatnot, right? So yes, it is allowed for a buyer's broker MLS to be like $1 compensation. Yes, that is allowed. That they could advertise that. So So is a seller allowed to offer zero compensation to the buyer's broker? And yes, they could also put zero. And typically, the buyer's agent may still submit a cooperating broker compensation, CBC form. Okay, if you see there's a zero and whatnot, you can do that. You submit your CBC requesting whatever, 3% along with your offer. Now, what should you discuss? You have to make it clear to the seller that the amount of compensation is negotiable. Okay. There's various options like how much to pay out the buyer's broker, if anything. You have to make it clear that seller should understand there are options to pay $0 to the buyer's broker or a dollar amount like a flat fee, or you can offer a percentage. Or you just invite the request from the buyer for the seller to pay the buyer's agent as part of the buyer's offer, which means like, submit your CBC form on what you want to get paid and include that with your offer. And there's pros and cons to these. So you need to just be able to be well versed. What are the pros and the cons? Okay. What are the potential impacts on how many showings and the activity you'll get if you offer more or less on the MLS, right? If I offered 10% commission on the MLS, I guarantee you there'll be a lot more activity than if I offered $100 on that same property. Yes or no? Okay. So we need to be well versed in how we present to the listing agents, and it's fully negotiable. Write that out just in your emails. It's negotiable. It really depends. But I'm a full service broker, and this is what I do for my full service, right? So can a buyer agent still have their own conversations with their own clients about how much I expect to make on for my relationship with you as an agent? Okay. So yes, I can have that conversation. I can be a discount buyer's broker agent. I can be a full service professional broker. And we all have different rates on how much we charge. So let's just say, dear client, I like to work with you. I do the full package. I do everything that's on this list of services that I do for buyers. Will you be willing to sign a buyer representation agreement that I get paid a minimum, or that I get paid a commission of 2.5% of the sales price for whichever property? And don't worry, you're not responsible for the 2.5% fully. You're only a responsible buyer for the difference of what the seller would pay, if anything, depending on which property you wish to buy from the MLS. So if this buyer wants to buy a property that's only advertising a 1% commission on the MLS, okay, I could either A, submit an offer accepting the 1%, and my buyer will compensate me the difference in escrow from 1 to 2.5% is what we signed. Okay, that's possible. Yes. And the buyer's going to say, that's, I don't want to pay you an extra commission. That's, can you have a seller pay commission? That's customary, right? And I say, yeah, it is customary for the seller in the past, but because of this, all commissions are negotiable. So now we're going to make this a negotiable term. How about this? We'll write your offer how you want it. They're only advertising 1%. I'm going to attach a CBC form asking for 2.5%, and or I'll submit the offers with my buyer's broker agreement for the seller to pay the difference. Okay, so there's a new area that we need to learn about. Okay, and just for illustration purpose, because this is not a training, I just want to show it to you real quickly. What area am I talking about? So on the RPA that has been revised, I want to point out something with you, which happens on any offer that you will see. So I have an offer right here. Let me just go ahead, and this is not even that sensitive. So let me just go ahead and show you what we're talking about. Now, this property here, there's an area called 3G3. Okay. So 3G3 reads and a checkbox right here. So in the situation where the buyer wants the seller to compensate the difference from 1% to 2.5% in my hypothetical situation, this would require me to check this box right here. And let's say the property is $1 million. I write a $1 million offer. My buyer agrees to it. And I check the box and I ask the seller, our offer is conditionally based upon the seller paying the buyer broker the difference. So we are asking for my 2.5% for this offer. And the seller would have to agree, or the listing agent can negotiate and counter this out or counter in the middle. So you as an agent need to understand how to use this box and what to look out for whenever you're presenting to your clients or whenever you're writing an offer. So what does this do? It just basically says, hey, seller, I have a 2.5. I would like you to pay that difference, and our offer is conditionally required. And so that's an extra closing cost to you, seller. And the listing agent has to be able to explain this, hopefully does not overlook this, because if the listing agent accepts your offer and they didn't counter it out, guess what, guys? You are in contract, you're accepted, you go ahead and proceed forward. The seller will be surprised to see that they have to pay the difference. And you could say, well, you accepted our offer and it was in there, and I'm not your agent. Your agent was supposed to explain this to you, seller, that you're paying the difference. You're paying a 2.5% commission to me. That was already provided to your agent. Okay. And they can't fight you. It's contractually added or included in the terms. But a smart listing agent that sees this, they will see that there's a form SPBB that has to be attached to the offer. They'll see that there's a difference asking the seller to pay 2.5% commission. And I would just say that, seller, that's actually kind of normal. 2.5% is okay. It's just letting you know, pointing it out that their offer of $1 million has a 25%, 2.5% commission to the buyer's agent. My agreement with you, seller, remains unchanged. So just letting you know, there's a that closing cost to be wary of. And or oh, but seller says no, I don't want to do that. Then the seller can also counter that out, or can counter in the middle, saying, okay, 2.5, let's make it 2%. And then the listing agent will counter back to make this SPBB to be 2%. And if you agree to it, great, you've agreed to it. If you don't agree to it, you can counter back. Treat this field as a fully negotiable term, and you could treat it just like any counter offer term. Any questions? Okay, no questions. Now you're all well versed and way ahead of the game of all the other realtors that don't even know about this box. Okay.
Calvin?
Yep.
Just want to make a statement. Now on the RPAs, when you submit an RPA, when you're putting together an RPA on the documents, the CBC is now automatically attached.
That's
So
great.
that's now a form that is now attached to the CBC. So now it's helping us as real estate practitioners.
That's good practice. I've been, we've been
Right.
doing this since the beginning of time. We always want to confirm or modify whatever the commission being offered. And
Correct.
so, yeah, it's nothing changes to us.
No.
If it's automatically attached, great. For us in our files, we already tell you and teach you, do it for every transaction. It's really not a change. It's just now it's part of the fields that's populated for us. Cool.
Correct.
They made it easier for more brokers to get on the same page of level
Correct.
of professional.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So that's it. That's my any other questions on seller payment to buyer's broker form. Okay.
Kelvin, question for you. You're on a listing appointment. The seller aggressively tells you, I am not going to be paying for the buyer's commission. What is your response?
My response would be, you're not paying for it. That's your choice. Is my job as a realtor to let you know that yes, it is fully negotiable to put and advertise what compensation is being, if any, offered on the MLS. There are negative and things and positive things that we can look at this, the pros and cons of doing this. The higher the compensation that's published in the MLS, there is a correlation that there will attract and receive more activity. Okay, because agents like to work for a commission. Do you know any real estate agents or attorneys or any professionals that like to work for free? No. So usually there is a commission being supplied, whether it's paid by a seller or paid by a buyer. Sure, I get it, what you're talking about. It could be paid by any party. Okay. In past practices, it was very customary that offer was for an accepted offer, a seller would attract and entice and advertise a commission for the buyer's agent and published in the MLS. But today's day and age, with a lot of antitrust lawsuits, we understand it could be fully negotiable. So I hear you, seller, and in your situation, let me tell you the negative things with a $0 compensation. Is that what I'm hearing for you? You want to publish the MLS, you're agreeable to my fee, and we're going to publish a $0 to the buyer's broker. Is that how I'm hearing you correctly? And the seller will affirm it. And then I say, okay, great. So this is my fee of the commission, and we're going to put 0% on the MLS. What's going to happen is, number one, sure, buyers will still be able to see it and view it on all their favorite websites out there, like Realtor.com and all the real estate websites of the world and the MLS. Buyers will see that there's a zero compensation offered, and the agents will also see it. Some agents like to show properties that offer compensation. Some agents might choose not to show yours. I can't speak for other agents, but obviously when I see that there's a zero compensation, it shows to me as a buyer's agent that I have to fight for my worth if I were to come and write an offer on that specific property in the MLS. I can do that. So if I'm an agent and my client says they love your property, I want to see it and schedule a showing, I'll show the property to the buyer. These buyer agents will schedule showings through me and use my lockbox or use my open house, and then they'll write their offers. I want to be in advance. I don't want to make and surprise you with what a contract looks like, but here's a standardized CAR purchase contract for you to review, seller. I want you to read everything on here. I also want to point out area 3G3. Some buyers will submit their offers to you, and they're going to check this box 3G3 asking you to pay it, whatever buyer's broker agreement that they may or may not have. The other thing that they may do is they're going to submit a CBC form. And let me explain to you that they may either accept zero commission and will just have their buyer added to their closing costs. They may request to ask for a percentage or a flat fee, like 2%, 3%, or 10%. And we won't know until we receive it. So we'll treat each offer individually, case by case, as it comes in. I want to explain to you that some people will ask for 2%, 3%, which they customarily want to receive. They might ask for 1% and they'll get another 1% from their own buyer. I can't speak for another broker. I just want to educate you on what steps will happen when we receive several various different offers, and some of them, or likely all of them, will have to fight for their own commission or get it from their buyer broker. But a lot of times, one of the major impacts that you won't understand up front is that if you add a buyer's paying their own broker a commission, this is now taken away from their proceeds of the purchase. What does that mean? Let's say they have to buy and spend $20,000 for the buyer's commission, which is 2% of $1 million. So they're going to ask this buyer to remove and budget $20,000 as a closing cost to the buyer that is now removed from their savings, okay, at closing. Now that also limits their borrowing power. When you have $20,000 less in the bank account, the lender will see this closing cost because it has to be added on the closing sheet for the borrower. And with less funds, they have less funds to finance too as well. So because their down payment is now much higher and is more closing costs higher, they might not be able to offer you the full amount that they normally would be able to budget in a mortgage application, building the commission in over 30 years in their mortgage. Does that make sense to you?
It does, 100%. And I do understand that some lenders out there are trying to have a united front. The noise that I'm hearing is they're trying to have a united front to try and come up with something to help the buyer offset that cost in some way, shape, or form of a rebate or something of that.
Yeah, and I get it. A lot of buyers may be able to afford it, but the vast majority of people fall under the 10% or 2.5%, 3.5% down payment type of situations. So if an FHA buyer has to allocate $20,000 and they only have 3.5% down, now they only have 2.5% down. They won't even qualify for the loan. Okay. So if you make them pay for their own commission, they won't be able to even write you the offer, or they won't be able to close, and you'll waste a lot of time. So that's why a lot of people will, like FHA, they'll write above asking offers because they get to build that commission expense from the seller side, paid side. They get to build it in their offer over 30 years and what they're borrowing. So that's the quick answer. Let me know if you want more details, seller. Here's a copy of the forms. Read them, understand them, because we're going to get negotiation on the buyer's broker commission fee. So I expect them to want to ask for it mid-contract or when they're writing their offers. And so you should expect it too. Okay?
Absolutely, 100%. And I just want to add that to all the agents that are here is don't forget that your friends that could be an affiliate, your friends that could be someone that you never thought could be a potential client. Be mindful of the discussions that you have regarding commission. Don't focus on commission being everything in your world.
Okay.
It is a compensation. So if you do your job, you get compensated.
Yeah, and everyone is fair about it. They understand people work for a fee. It's a professional job we're doing.
Right.
So anyway, this is the paragraphs writing biorepresentation misconceptions. Um, it's not required to do a biorepresentation agreement now. It's highly recommended. It's good risk management practices, but you're not mandatory required to. The 3G3 that we just discussed is also an optional field to fill out only if you're asking for the seller to pay for the difference between your buyer broker agreement that you have signed with the MLS. If you want to suck it up and they're advertising 1.5% and you're not gonna and you're okay with it, you could just go ahead and accept 1.5%. But if you want to enforce it then you have to attach it and check that box because your agreement with your buyer is 2.5. Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, Neil Lavar.
No matter what, whether the commission is 2.5, 1.5, 3.5%. For example, we have 2.5% commission and it's agreeable. But it's still, in order to have that commission shows, if we check this 3G3, would be the safe side, or this is just to asking for more commission?
3G3 depends how you fill it out, but 3G3 is asking for more commission than what's advertised in the MLS.
So don't check it if the MLS says 2.5% commission.
If you're happy with that 2.5, you don't need to check it.
Thank you.
Okay. It's only if you want to negotiate. Usually it's you negotiate for more, but yeah, you could do that. Okay.
Great.
All right. And Sylvia mentioned a good article, good thing about you guys are doing a good job. There's a true value as you as a buyer's agent out there. And so I want to point out smartzonecar.org, because I'm sure 100% of you that are watching this right now have never been on this website. Okay. So what is this? Buyer's agent resources. The only reason why I'm pointing this out is because many of you don't know what your worth is, and you don't validate what the value that you bring to the table. So I call it your value proposition, and I need you to understand that there are 167 different things that you do out there for buyers that you probably are not well versed in explaining to your value to why you should be deserving a 2.5% commission, for example. Okay, so what does that mean? Let me go to the resource hub and show you one area that I thought was really cool. $167 things. Okay, so when I'm as an agent, and what do I do? Well, here's 167 things a realtor does for their own client. We do a lot more than show homes. Discover what this is what we do. This is for pre-listing activities, okay? I'm not going to talk about that because I'm just going to show you there are 167 bullet points. Once the property is under listing, okay, I'm going to confirm the lot size. I'm going to prepare showing instructions. I'm going to discover possible buyer financing options, okay? I'm going to order an NHD. I have an extra key made for the lockbox. Verify information. There's a ton of things that an agent has to do prior to putting the property in the MLS. Now, I want to just point out, many of you agents, whether you're a listing agent or a buyer's agent, this is a great checklist to see, are you doing everything that you should to represent your client? Okay. And if you're representing a buyer, you could skip everything under the listing side. Okay. But as a buyer's agent, you got to follow the loan process all the way through underwriting. You should add lender and other vendors to your contact lender weekly to ensure processing is on track with the buyer. Follow up to get the final relay approval with the seller. We're going to perform home inspections with the buyer. We're going to ask for repairs if you wanted, or give credit or reductions, okay? So if you want to learn about what are all the steps that an agent does throughout the course of a transaction, this is a good guide as well. Okay. So anyway, just want to point out that there's so much stuff that we do. That's why we want to earn a 2.5% in commission. Okay.
Great information, Kelvin.
No problem. Thank you. You're welcome.
It's at our fingertips.
Yep. So going back into the slideshows, we did a market. I didn't do a market update. But this is the answers regarding buyer representation misconceptions. We already went through the 167 things. Now let's get just a reminder, if you have any deals going through, you're representing a buyer, go get your insurance premium quotes early in your due diligence period. If you're finding the the insurance is part of the due diligence period. So if you shorten your inspection period to 5 days because you're very confident and you love the brand new home or whatever, you only have 5 days to get your insurance premium in place as a excuse to cancel. If you find that a lot of these major companies won't issue any policies, you are still forced to proceed forward with the purchase, even though the rates that you're receiving are outrageous. Any other questions? All right, new listings. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Jerry and Connie have a nice new listing on Heather Heights, Monrovia, asking only $1 million, 75,000. This is a nice 8,700 lot, very north in the foothills, and I would be anticipating this is going to be in a high fire zone. So because of this, just letting you know, it's a nice duplex, and talk to him if you have anyone interested in this Monrovia duplex. We got a beautiful looking property on Los Angeles, 2043 Seichel Street, number 2. 500 square feet for rent, $1,650 per month. Julia Jiang. And we have 3,700 a month rental in Glendale, 117 Chestnut Street. This is Angel's new listing, and it's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath in Glendale. And Lorena Leung has a nice listing for sale. The hills of Mount Washington. There's an area on Montalvo Street for roughly a 5,000 square foot lot up here in the hills, asking 95,000. Rectangular lot. And in Chino, we got a nice new listing for sale. Sylvia Ramos, you want to pitch your 8175
Sure.
Spirit?
Sure. Thank you so much, Calvin. So this one here is a nice kind of Santa Barbara kind of Spanish look. It's in a very serene, quiet area, newer development over in Chino. I am, full disclosure, representing my daughter on her purchase. She's ready to purchase a single family home. So this beautiful condo here has had many upgrades, including better quality of paint, shelving in the garage, custom shelving in the laundry area as well. As you can see, it is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. One recently sold a couple months ago for $660,000 without these upgrades. Has custom blinds from the blind man, Johnson. So it has the shutters, and upstairs it has the mini blind, custom mini blinds as well. It is extremely attractive. It's an end unit. She did pay more money for it when she purchased it because it was an end unit. She did take her mother's and her father's advice as her realtors. So yeah, this one's on the market. Let me know. There are not going to be any open houses. There are 2, my 2 grand dogs are in there, 2 large dogs. So that will need to be on private showings only. So thank you for this. Hope you bring an offer.
All right, good job. And we got Helen. She's got a nice new listing in Rialto. Brand new construction, 2024, new build, $668,000 for 722 Marcella Avenue, Rialto. I looked at the photos. Where are you gonna find 2,000 square feet, only 308 a square foot, very, very inexpensive for a brand new build. So if you have anyone looking for something that might be a good investment property or whatnot, it's nicely built. And we have some closers. 8343 Jumila in Winnetka. This is a closing with Edgar and Carla. I'm very happy they got their transaction closed, got the job done right, and a nice deal. Good property. 272 Glenarm Street in 107 Pasadena. This one got leased out by Anis. She did a great job on that. And Jonathan Go, he just closed on this 1735 Julia Way listing.
I like that street name, Julia Way. Too bad Julia's not here to see that.
Yep. So good job to Jonathan. You got that listed. I got one closed in Baldwin Park. Nice cash offer. It was no frills. Very, very quick sale. And on Beaumont, we got Jagjit Singh closing on a new construction. This one is a beautiful property right here in Beaumont, very close to the Cabazon. There is also some Arcadia ones to shoot out, so I'll go ahead and add and share those.
Can we do a coming soon?
Let me do that after this.
Sure.
Okay, so all right, so Henry Liu closed on 600 North Atlantic. Do you guys see the slide right now?
Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. Atlantic Boulevard, Monterey Park. This one sold at 860,000 right here on Atlantic. And some new listings were Amy. She has a new lease listing at 4,800 per month here in 9th Avenue, Arcadia. Great location. Henry has a new listing for 5,600 per month. This is in Irvine on a newer community for a single family.
Those clouds are amazing. That's a great shot.
Yeah, it really does have that effect. And we closed with Pat Attree closed at 142 Crescent Glen Drive, Glendora, 1,388,000. That's a nice price for a huge lot.
It's a beautiful property.
Yep. And Jessica Chan, she closed at 24101 High Knob Road, Diamond Bar, 625,000. Congratulations, Jessica. And Henry just leased out one of these townhouses on Temple City Boulevard, Arcadia. 4,300 per month was the lease for that brand new construction townhouse. Henry closed in Hacienda Heights, 1,050,000 on 1553 Drum Hill. And another one leased out, Unit D in the same community, 4,450 per month for that townhouse and that floor plan. And that's really just the yeah, go ahead and you can do coming soon now, Sylvia.
Great, thank you. Realtors, just want to let you know that we're coming up with a listing on Golden West, just south of Duarte, north of Fairview. It is going to be a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a 2-car garage tandem. And it's built 1974. It's a 1,122 square foot. It sits right behind the community pool. It will be listed at 688. It is directly across the street from the ranch market there. So it's in a very convenient location. Thank you.
Okay, so just a reminder on for those of you who RSVP'd, we do have Level Up from the Arcadia and collaboration with Aria. So I sent you guys all the flyers and the signups from last week. So there's 2 classes. One of them is Level Up with Coach David Kesey. And the next one is at right back to back, Paul Chang, attorney, both at the Arcadia Masonic Center, 12:30 start time. They're serving lunch. So I'll see you guys there. Okay, I RSVP to everyone who responded back to me. Any other questions? If not, see you guys in an hour at the ARIA event. And if you have any questions or any issues, just reach out, call me, text me anytime.
No, great meeting. Thank you, everyone. Thanks,
Have a
Kelvin.
great week, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for hanging in there.